Hi there everybody, welcome to my video. Today I'm going to show you my tortoise table setup and also how to care for the Russian or Horsfield tortoise. I'll just start by showing you Tommy, my pet Horsfield tortoise. He's 1 year 5 months old. I've had him just over a month now. They naturally live in the Middle East, on the edge of deserts, in mountain areas. It's got to be dry. They last for about 60 years with the right care. And I'll just start by saying what environment you shouldn't use. You should not have a glass vivarium for them. And you can probably see my original one under the table there. I was missold by the pet shop because, of course, they only sold the vivariums and not tortoise tables. They said that was the best thing for them, but let me tell you, it definitely isn't. There's a few reasons why. First of all, the glass front on them does cause a lot of distress. I had mine for about a week in the vivarium, and he was always scraping at the glass trying to get out, and he did seem very stressed, purely because they can see out into the room. They want to go and explore, but also they can't because of the glass in the way. Also, they don't have very good air circulation, which isn't very good for the tortoise itself. They're not very big. I think this one's 4 foot by 2 foot, but compared to the tortoise table, it's just nowhere near enough room for him to explore, which obviously they do like to explore. Also, it's very important that you have a hot and a cold end in the Horsfield tortoise environment. With the glass vivarium, they tend to hold the heat in the whole area. They don't circulate very well, and if you set the thermostat to 28 degrees and the heat lamp, you find the whole enclosure will be around 30 degrees and there won't be any cool end, which obviously isn't good. This is my hand-built tortoise table. It took me about half a day to build. Materials cost about £80 from a local woodyard. It's 5-ply MDF. It's got to be thick, so obviously you can't dig through it. And it is approximately 6.5 foot by 3 foot, I believe, or 3.5 foot actually, which is what I recommend as a minimum, because obviously at the moment he's quite small, but as he gets older they can grow up to sort of 16 to 18 centimetres, depending if it's male or female. So it's very important you build it big enough for them, or else he's going to get very distressed and not have a very good life. And also it's worth noting that you shouldn't keep them indoors all year round. During the summer, when it's hot and dry, which being in England isn't very often, they should be in an outdoor safe enclosure. I am building mine at the moment. Once it is built and he's in it, I will do a video to show you on that as well. But for the moment, with it being in winter and temperature's about 0 at the moment, there's no way he can go outside, so he's got to be kept inside the house. Start by showing you the soil bottom and telling you about that. Up this end we've got mainly bark on the top because it holds the heat well and he likes laying on it. Up this end we've got the cooler soil, so obviously I haven't got the heat lamp up this end, so the soil doesn't get very warm, so if he does get too warm he can come up here and cool down. It's important to say that the height of the soil should be approximately the same height as the tortoise himself, and that's because they like to dig and they like to burrow, and it is natural for them. You can't put a little bit in the bottom. You do need to spend quite a bit of money buying a few bags of soil. I have got my mixture at 70% topsoil on the bottom layer, mixed with 30% like play sand, and that just dries it out a bit. That's approximately 6 to 7 centimetres. Then I've got a further layer on the top of tortoise life Mediterranean soil, which has got calcium bit into it, and it's a lot drier than the topsoil. So that's on the top, and he does seem to like his soil. Just show you inside his what I call house, his bedroom. So you can see up this end I have got a rock which holds the heat well. I will touch on that later. And in here we've got double the height of soil. This is where he sleeps. Obviously it's dark, it's warm, it's cosy, he can dig. He does like to dig his little hole in the corner there. So you need to be approximately 15 centimetres if possible in here, mainly up that end. It doesn't matter so much at this end because he doesn't sleep up here. But this end where he does like to sleep, so he can burrow, does need to be deep. Just show you the heating and lighting in the table. I'll just shut this. Up this end we've got a 100 watt heat lamp with some basking rocks underneath it. Very important. You cannot have a Horsfield tortoise without having this. He does like to spend lots of days sitting under here, keeping warm. And then we've got a thermostat connected to it, a dim wall thermostat set to 26 in an open room like this. Doesn't ever really click off apart from in the summer months, I would imagine. But at the moment with the heating on, I don't think it'd get anywhere above 26. So that is on most of the day, but that is what you want because he does spend most of the day under there. At this end I've got a UVB fluorescent tube. That's also very important for the Horsfield tortoise because they come from sunny areas, obviously in the Middle East. You have to mimic that, and they do get benefits from the sun. So you should have a fluorescent UVB tube in there. Make sure it's no more than 6 inches above the soil, or else they don't really benefit from it. Also handy to have a reflector underneath the, above the tube, so it reflects down and spreads it outwards evenly. I'll just show you the heating system inside the house. Obviously I don't want the this lamp and the tube running 24/7. That would put the electric bill through the roof. So they're on timers. They stay on most of the day. During the night they're off because he tends to sleep during the night, as most people do. He doesn't tend to come out. But obviously with the house heating off and it being 0 degrees outside, this room is going to get cold. So it's very advisable that you have a ceramic heat emitter where he sleeps, and this will give him a gentle radiant heat from the top. I wouldn't recommend a heat mat because firstly you don't want him to get down and be chewing at it with electrics, but secondly because they naturally get the heat from above, not from below. It's much more healthy for them. Got a Edison ceramic screw holder there, which resists the heat, and also a heat resistant cable because it can get a bit warm and you don't want any of that getting too warm, obviously because of fire. I've got 2 digital thermometers in there, just purely so I can make sure that both of them are working correctly. At the moment I think they're running both about 23.9, 23.8, so that's definitely the right heat in there for this time of the day. During the night I set the thermostat for this heater at 22. You could probably set it a bit lower than that, but during this time of year with it so cold in the room, I like to keep that 22, so that'll click on and off during the day. I'll just show you my timers. So this is the thermostat. This is just a click on and off thermostat for the bedroom heater. Down here I've just got timers for each of the different various lights set on different times. Obviously you can customise it to whatever your tortoise likes, and also obviously to save your electric bills. Just have a look, I'll just have a talk about food. See at the moment he's eating his calcium tortoise rock, I think it's called tortoise chalk. That's very good for them. He likes to chew on that because naturally they do need calcium. That will keep his shell nice and strong, which is what he likes. He does like to chew on that. Today's a Sunday, so his food bowl isn't in there. It's always advisable to miss a day during the week when they're in this environment because they can gain weight fairly easy. So Sunday I tend to miss a day. The rest of the week I'll have a food bowl the same size as the watering bowl. With him being so young, you don't really want a lot. Some people say approximately as much as you can fit over his shell. So you only need a small handful of greens. During the summer you can go and pick weeds and flowers. Make sure they're obviously from safe sources and not anything like fertilised or been treated with anything special. Just make sure it's pure weeds, and we can give them that during the summer. During the winter, obviously being in England, we don't get many weeds and flowers growing in outdoors, so I'm growing my own on a windowsill downstairs. But also, as well as that, you can get everything you need from a supermarket. You can get spring greens, fresh thyme, parsley, mint, rocket. Avoid iceberg lettuce because it's got no value to it at all, no nutritional value. Cucumber now and again because again it's got no nutritional value, but it is good just to keep them hydrated. And also I put sometimes a bit of carrot on the top as well. He does like his carrot. One thing that is very important to make sure they do stay healthy is to sprinkle or dust some supplements over his food every day. So I've got something called ArcVits and also Nutribol. Both you can get them off eBay or the internet fairly cheaply. Again, that just helps him stay healthy and will give him natural vitamins that he would get in the wild. I would definitely avoid the pellets. Some people choose to feed him the pellets. He probably will like the pellets, but they'll get addicted to it, and obviously in the wild on mountains you don't find pellets, so I don't really see why you should get them in this environment. I like to keep it as natural as possible. Also, you can just see him eating. There's a few greens coming through there. I've just put some weeds under there, hoping they might grow. With it being in the window, I know there's no water in there. You don't want any damp soil, but with them being weeds, they'll grow basically anywhere. So I'm hoping eventually I'll have a nice weed bed here that you can go and sit in. And he's just having a munch on them now, actually, which is a bit annoying because he might kill them all, but probably because he's hungry because he hasn't missed his food today. I would avoid fruits such as strawberries, tomatoes. They've got high sugar contents in them, naturally found of course, but that'll build a bacteria in the stomach, which isn't good. Occasionally you can give it to them as a treat, probably once a month at the very most, if at all, because they don't really need it, but it is nice to give them a treat now and again. Over here I have got a rock set up, just something to break up the environment a little bit so you can go climbing. Horsfield tortoises do love climbing, so it's important to give something they can climb on, just so to keep them entertained during the day. Make sure there's nowhere they can fall off, but make sure it's quite flat and there aren't any big drops off. So got a cuttlefish in there. Again, he rarely chews on that with his tortoise jog, but that's just to help with the calcium. You can have a chew on that now and again. Just a pot for him to hide in. Spider plant, again somewhere for him to hide in. We've got a shallow pool over here where he likes to go for a soak, keep dehydrated and go for a little swim as well. And another shallow dish over here which is for additional water. Just show you over here. Got a log for him to hide under there. And it is important just to say, he does like climbing over this log. They are very good climbers, as I've said. Don't have anything like this log on the edges, because if you do, he'll get on there and climb over the edges. The sides do have to be very high to stop him climbing out. Remember, he will get bigger and they are good climbers, so make sure it's nice and high. With regards to cleaning, you're meant to change the soil every 2 to 3 weeks. However, obviously that cost me an absolute bomb because I'd have to spend so much on soil to fill this up. I've never seen him once go to the toilet in the enclosure. I do check it daily, and I never have any signs of dampness or any faeces anywhere. The reason being, I give him baths twice a week, lukewarm, chin deep, just in a little washing up bowl, and that will keep him dehydrated. And also when he's in there, he'll tend to go to the toilet, which is very handy because it stops your enclosure coming filthy. If they do decide to do any toilets in the enclosure itself, you do need to change the soil every 2 to 3 weeks just to keep it fresh. You need to spot clean it daily. Also, I weigh him once a week in digital scales just to make sure he's growing right. I don't know what the average is, but you basically just need to make sure you put on a little tiny amount of weight each week. You don't want him growing too fast or too slowly, so you need to make sure that it's going up evenly but slowly and not too greatly. A few things to think about if you are thinking of buying a Horsfield tortoise. The biggest thing is you have to commit a lot of time and a lot of money, so you've got to make sure you have both of those. Every night when you go home from work, I spend approximately 20 minutes just sorting out the enclosure, checking everything, filling up all the waters. You've got to make sure you top up the waters 24 hours to keep them fresh, and checking him, obviously give him a bath. And the biggest thing is the cost, because I did buy a vivarium first of all, which cost about £130, and all this equipment, including Tommy himself. I probably spent about £600 on him, which obviously is a lot of money for a pet. We do need to think about, can you afford it before. Also remember, they are going to last for 60 years. They'll probably outlive you, so you've got to think of that. Can you commit to have them for the rest of your life. And not, you might spontaneously buy one, and the rush might go after a week, and you think actually it's a bit boring now. You got to make sure that you're committed to it, basically for the rest of your life, and that you'll always have the funds there as well to keep him going. Obviously, the soil, if you're going to top up that quite a lot, that soil costs a lot of money. The biggest thing that does cost money is the electric. Although I do have timers and thermostats to help out, we've still got this 100-watt bulb, a 60-watt heat emitter running during the night, and a fluorescent tube as well. All of those do use electric, and obviously electric is money, so you do need to think if you can afford to keep them going. Also, you've got to obviously have the initial cost to settle this up, and also to build any outdoor enclosures. And they do need to have, like I say, some time on your hands to keep them going. Also, you need to think about the cost of the food. I do have to go shopping at the moment in the winter weekly, just to get his spring greens and mints and herbs and that sort of thing. That they are quite cheap, but if you're doing it every single week for the rest of your life, obviously the cost is going to be quite high. They do quite well with children. I think I've had a few young children and babies around here, and I know they are known to nip or bite, but my Horsfield tortoise has never done that, and I've never seen him, even go for anyone, even my cats or dogs. He does behave quite well with my dog. They are best of friends. Once he's had a bath, I'll take him downstairs, and we'll let him just dry out and have a walk around the living room where my dog is, obviously. And my dog's very gentle and very placid, so they do get on very well. But you do need to think, obviously, if you have got cats, which I have, but they're rarely in the house, you need to make sure they can't have access to him ever, because that could be fatal for the tortoise, and how they are going to behave around your pets. So I hope this has helped you. If you've got any questions, please comment, and I'll try and answer as soon as I can. Thank you.